Oh, it's hilarious.
That's good stuff.
That's awesome.
All right, here we got Jack Morgan. We got Nick Powers.
Good morning.
And we're about to go live on WYVE in Wythville, and it's going to be a great interview, and it's going to wrap up our little tour down here in Southwest Virginia. Looking forward to the interview.
We'll have fun with it.
Yeah,
That's the most important thing.
great. We're going to have you all on watching it as we go along.
Awesome.
Oh, let's see.
Y'all ready for a good show?
I'm ready. How about you, Jack?
Finishing up an awesome weekend in the 9th District with Corey. It's been fun.
Jack gets his life back after this.
Let me get a couple. I'm going to jot down a couple of notes. Now, let's see. What's the office that you are running for?
Governor.
Okay.
All right.
Gov. A little bit about. Well, I mean, we'll just kind of get into that as we talk.
Yep.
So, I told Jack when we were talking on the phone the other day. I'm pretty opinionated, and I told someone the other day. I think they got offended by it, but I told them that I'm a right-wing conservative, God-fearing, gun-toting Republican Christian. And
But Nick, you and I are going to get along just fine.
He's one of our guys.
somebody had posted a thing on Facebook the other day. I had to share it. All the witches across the United States got together to cast a spell to remove Donald Trump from office. And I made a post on my Facebook. I said, this now convinces me that liberalism is a mental disorder.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I think it really is. I really think so.
Well, see, when I'm on the air, I have to be careful about things I say because you don't want to, you do have people listening who have different views than you. And, I have some very good friends who are liberals who are very good people. Very good people. And we just, I get to a point where I'm like, I agree to disagree.
That's right.
Let's talk baseball now.
I got a few friends like that out there. You know who you are, by the way.
All right, after the weather, we're ready to go, gentlemen.
Chance of light rain, a high in the mid-60s. Tonight, mostly cloudy with rain showers, a low in the lower 50s. On Wednesday, a 60% chance of strong afternoon and evening thunderstorms.
Jack Morgan and Corey Stewart. That sounds like a race team.
Yeah,
Well, it is. It is.
Yeah, we're racing. We're in a race.
High only in the upper 40s. Overnight lows Thursday night in the lower 30s. Up to 20s by Friday night. And that's your latest forecast on 12.
Currently, we have mostly clear conditions. Our temperature has fallen 1 degree. We're back to 35 at 7:08. It's time for Talking With, all things Wythe County and related to Wythville. It's brought to you by Risk Solutions Insurance. For all your business, home, auto, motorcycle, life, and health insurance needs, and for retirement funding, see the great folks at Risk Solutions Insurance. They are located at 110 East Main Street in Wythville. You can call them 223-1148, 223-1148. They're open Monday through Friday from 8:30 till 5 and Saturdays by appointment. A couple of in-studio guests today, very special guests, and then we're going to have another guest. We're going to split up Talking With into a couple of segments today, but first off, want to welcome in Mr. Jack Morgan and Mr. Corey Stewart. Now, Jack, I'm going to start off. If I call you Captain Jack, just reach over and smack me.
Not a problem. I get it all the time.
So as we welcome these two gentlemen in, Jack Morgan, Corey Stewart, now, let's talk about what you guys are doing out this morning.
Yep. Well, I'll go ahead and start real quick. A lot of folks around here know me from my political work. Former 9th District Chair for quite a while for the Republican Party, and then I also ran Donald Trump's campaign in Southwest Virginia. And during that time, I spent a lot of time with Corey, who was his chair across the entire state, and got to know Corey and extremely impressed. And just like the reason I supported Trump. Because I want a game changer. I want somebody who isn't going to be part of the establishment that'll go in and shake things up in D.C. Well, I want the same thing in Richmond. That's why I'm with Corey. Corey's running for governor, and he is the anti-establishment candidate. He's going to go in there and drain the Richmond swamp like Trump is right now draining the D.C. swamp. So that's kind of what we're doing. We've been down in here for I've had him down here since Saturday. We've been nonstop pretty much. This ends it today. You get to finish off the tour. He's heading back home. But I'm excited to be on board with him, and he's the kind of guy we need and the kind of guy that most solid conservatives in Southwest Virginia are going to want to get behind.
Wow. With that kind of build-up, Corey, I mean, my goodness. What can you say?
Not much. I think Jack just took my speech. But look, I've spent a lot of time down here in Southwest, both of for my own campaign, but also for Trump's campaign. This is the part of the state that Trump did very, very well in. Buchanan County, in fact, was the highest proportion of Trump voters anywhere in the country, both in the primary and in the general.
Wow,
and I
didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, this is Trump territory, but it's also my territory. I love it down here, and I feel a good kinship to the great folks down in Southwest Virginia. We're going to do a lot. We're not going to forget about you. I do realize that there's a big part of Virginia that is west of Roanoke. As governor, I'm going to be coming down here, and we're going to make this a focal point for us as we rejuvenate the economy in the state. We're going to get started right here in Southwest Virginia by eliminating the income tax in 4 jurisdictions that border the state of Tennessee. That's Lee, Scott, Washington counties, and the city of Bristol. They have a hard time competing with Tennessee. It's right over the line. Somebody can move their business over there, and there's no income tax. So we're going to eliminate the income tax in those 4 counties, those localities, and then we're going to ratchet down the income tax throughout the whole state as well.
Man, I like the sound of that. I'll tell you why. I'm from Scott County. That's where I grew up.
That's awesome.
So, made my way up here. Which, when you start talking about Bristol, sometimes it's only an hour away from here. So, I mean, a lot of, even though, it's only an hour away, a lot of territory to cover, a lot of people to see and talk to.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a, you don't really realize how large Virginia is and just how large, Southwest Virginia is until you get down here and you travel around quite a bit. But, we started off our this tour down in Lee County, which is, of course, I think it's further west than the city of Detroit or something like that. Some amazing statistics. But people also think that Southwest is all about coal, and coal is a big part of the economy in Southwest Virginia, but it's not the whole thing. And, a lot of agriculture here, a lot of other industry. And there's a lot of resources down here, and the biggest resource that Southwest Virginia has, it's got labor, it's got skilled labor, and we can bring businesses back here. I know we can, and we're going to do that under my administration.
Now, you were talking about coal, and I have an extensive, on my mom and dad's side. My mother's family is Italian. So my great-grandmother was born in Italy, and when they came over, they started working the coal mines in Pennsylvania, then down to West Virginia, and then they finally settled around the Wise County area and Scott County, still working the coal mines. My dad's family, coal miners, and I am a big supporter of the coal industry. And what I've seen Donald Trump do, and I hope it's going to continue with other Republicans, is revitalizing the coal industry, because people don't understand, if you've not been down to that part of Virginia around Wise, Scott, Lee, I mean, and of course you get into Kentucky as well and West Virginia, but the coal industry, when it didn't go completely out of business, but when it was cut back, it really devastated those areas. And now those areas have hope, and to me that it's a fantastic thing to see. It really is.
Yeah, I think that coupled, so you've got the Trump administration that's going to get not just the EPA, but the Army Corps of Engineers, which has been very, very difficult, unreasonably difficult and regulatory on the coal industry. But you couple that with what we can do in the state, bringing back the coal tax credit, working together with the federal government, improving the transportation infrastructure, the Coalfields Expressway from the port. All those things put together really can not just bring it back in a little way, but with a big way. And we can make Southwest Virginia not just start to improve, but really become an epicenter of economic growth in the state of Virginia.
Well, let's kind of go backward a little bit here. Tell us a little bit about your background, where you went to school, where you grew up, and those kinds of things.
Well, I'm a Virginian by choice. I love this state. I love its heritage. I love its history. That's why I went to support the statue of Robert E. Lee from the lefties who were trying to take it down. I love this state. And I grew up the son of a longshoreman. I was the only one in my family to go to college. I went to Georgetown University. I grew up in Minnesota. I have to get that out there. So, but hey, at least it's not New Jersey or something like that.
Minnesota's great, the land of 1,000 lakes.
That's right. And so anyway, but I've been here for quite a long time. And I went to school at Georgetown, and then went back to Minnesota for law school. And I decided that I really wanted to raise my family and in Virginia. So we came back here back in the 1990s.
Oh, wow. Okay, fantastic. Now, what was your motivation to get into this political game? I mean, I always find that interesting.
Yeah.
Someone there's something key in their life that happens that drives them towards this.
Well, I've been chairing the Prince William Board of Supervisors now for 10 years. And it's a bit like being a big city mayor because we have an at-large elected chairman. That means I'm up for election in front of all 454,000 residents of Prince William County. I've won that 4 times. I'm a big fighter, and I love getting things done. And one of the things I did in 2007, which I'm very proud of because it was tough, we got it done. I implemented the toughest crackdown on illegal immigration anywhere in the United States. Took a lot of flack for it, took a lot of slings and arrows, but we got it done. And now we've handed over 7,500 criminal illegal aliens over to the feds. I would like to implement that across the board, all across Virginia. It just doesn't make any sense to me that somebody comes here illegally, commits a crime, and then is released right back into the community so they can commit another crime. That's going to end under my administration.
I like that. I love the sound of that.
Well, thanks. Great. I think we're going to get along just fine over these couple of months here, Nick.
Fantastic, fantastic. So what's your agenda? What you guys have going on over the next, let's say, couple of days as you, go and see folks and...
Well, we're finishing up Southwest today, so this is it for him down here. He'll head back north, and then somebody else will take over up there and take him whatever counties and areas he's going to next. But we'll have him back down here. You know, our folks are focused on Southwest, and that's what I want to talk about. And he'll be back down here definitely the first part of April for 2 or 3 days again, and maybe even in between. We're looking at some dates, but another reason that I personally got behind Corey, not only do I agree with him on nearly every issue, I guess every issue so far that I can find we're exactly alike on, but he cares about Southwest. He came down here during the Trump campaign, and he didn't just come through and make a couple speeches. He came down, he saw it, he started, him and his wife both kind of fell in love with the area, so they kept coming back. And during that last few weeks of the campaign, this guy and his wife actually came to Wythville County and knocked on doors for Donald Trump. You don't see that kind of work ethic and that kind of commitment out of most politicians. In fact, rarely out of a politician, and he's really not even like most politicians. He's somebody who wants to fix things. He doesn't want to get in and hold an office. He wants to change things. And that's why I got behind him. So I'm going to drag him down here every chance I can. He wants to be here. I have to fight the other people across the state for him. But we're going to get him down here as often as possible. I'd like to get him back on with you every chance we can. Let the folks from Wythville hear about what we're doing. But we've had a great run. Man, we've been all over Giles. I've had him in Eggleston out in Giles. And we've had him in Marion and Saltville and Abingdon and Lee County. And he's been all over nonstop talking to I don't know how many people. Had a big rally in Abingdon yesterday with a bunch of protesters. Everywhere he goes, protesters shows up. That tells me he's doing something right. That's Absolutely. The best part.
Now, I'm a big baseball fan. Reggie Jackson used to say, they don't boo nobodies.
Yeah. Well, I
like that, Nick.
I got one for you. I'm a big NASCAR fan. Well, I was a big NASCAR fan. Not as much anymore because my man isn't around anymore. I was a big Dale Earnhardt fan, and he used to say it doesn't matter whether they're cheering and booing as long as they're making noise.
Exactly. So you're going to be back the 1st of April.
April 7th and 8th for sure.
Okay, we'll try to have you back on. We'd love for you to come back, and we can talk a little more extensively about what you guys are doing and what you want to accomplish. I mean, I think that's the main thing. You talk about things you've done and the things that you want to accomplish. I think that's what really touches a chord with people.
That's right, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to be happy to be on your show anytime, Nick. So
thank you so much for coming down. Jack Morgan, Corey Stewart. Now, we're going to talk to you guys again April 7th, April 8th, somewhere along those lines. This is a special edition of Talking With because me, being the idiot that I am, I double booked today. We're going to talk to Sergeant Eastwood with the Wythville Fire Department. That's coming up in just a bit. Stay right where you are. This is Talking With, brought to you by Risk Solutions Insurance on 1280 WYVE.